Gonna be you and me. Gonna be everything you ever dreamed. Gonna be you and me. Gonna be everything.
Hey, how's it going? This is Joe and Tell, and today we're taking a look at the ELAC BS41 bookshelf speakers and the CS41 center channel. These are likely the lowest price speakers you'll find from ELAC, but how do they perform? Let's find out. I've reviewed almost every ELAC speaker, at least all the ones that were designed by Andrew Jones. I've even reviewed some of the speakers designed by him when he was still at Pioneer. Those FS52 floor standards were some of the best deals in audio, and the bookshelf versions remained unbeatable at their price. You could often find the Pioneer BS22LR bookshelf speakers for just under $100 a pair. If you look at my speaker leaderboard, you'll still find those at the top of the $100 price category and the floor standards at the top of the $200 category. The problem is that Pioneer seems to have stopped production on those. That makes sense considering Andrew Jones hasn't been there in many years, and those were released sometime in 2012. But here we are with the BS41s, which look like smaller versions of the debut 2.0, but with a 4-inch driver and what looks to me to be the same tweeter. Even the vinyl wrap, binding posts, and the grill look the same. The question I have is whether these can replace the Pioneer BS22LRs. I also want to know how these might compare to the ELAC Debut 2.0 and whether these can be used in a system consisting of all Debut 2.0 speakers while still remaining voice matched. I do have a binaural sound demo of these speakers and another video with objective measurements. I'll link to those below. So first, comparing these to the Pioneers. These do not have a curved cabinet, which I loved seeing on budget speakers. This also has a waveguide on the tweeter, but it's hidden by this grill. These are a bit shorter in height, although the overall volume seems to be about the same. The tonality and frequency response are also very similar, with the port tuning on these being slightly lower, giving you a bit more bass response. These do seem to be able to get slightly louder. I was able to play them at full range at -5 dB from reference with no audible distortion. These do have relatively low sensitivity at 87 dB and with a 6 ohm nominal impedance. I was powering them with my Parasound A52 Plus, which puts out around 350 watts RMS times 2 at 4 ohms, so I wouldn't recommend that others try that, considering that these are rated for 80 watts RMS. Other than styling differences, these are an excellent alternative to the Pioneers. What I've heard from ELAC is that the retail on these is $149 a pair. I wanted to know what the bass response was on these small speakers. Now, they don't change the laws of physics, but they might still surprise you with what they can do. It's a bit more than you might expect. The good thing is they don't attempt to produce frequencies they clearly cannot, and therefore I didn't hear any audible distortion caused by overexertion. Don't expect to be able to hear anything close to full range bass with these. You'll still need to use a sub. If you want a pair of bookshelf speakers that you can get away with not absolutely needing a sub, you may want to look at the bigger brothers, the Debut 2.0 B6.2s with a 6.5 inch woofers. I would even recommend those over the Debut B5.2s, which use 5.25 inch woofers. Now to answer my second question, which is how would these match to the Debut 2.0s? From my listening and my objective measurements, I would say they're perfect for use as surround or height speakers, as they do match the tonality well. I do suspect they're using the same tweeters based on the frequency response. These are rated down to 70 Hz, and my measurements showed that they can get down to 60 Hz comfortably. I always recommend that for home theater, you look for speakers that can get down to at least 80 Hz, so you can cross the sub over at 80 Hz. The reason is that 80 Hz is the frequency where you can no longer localize the location of the sound source, so bass will seem to come from the bookshelf speakers instead of from the sub. For a small home theater setup, I could even recommend these be used for all the speakers. At their current price, it makes a lot of sense for those looking to save some money. Again, pair these with a good sub that can get down to 20 Hz and you're golden. The soundstage and imaging on these is okay. I found it maybe a bit fragile in my 20x20 room. Now, they might have just been placed a little too far from each other, flanking my 120-inch screen. I found that moving side to side could collapse the center image, but perhaps bringing them closer to each other would have fixed that. After some experimentation, I found that Towen helped a lot. So if you're having that issue, mess around with placement and positioning. Anyway, that's what the center channel speaker is for, and luckily they have a matching center and I have it here. Tonally, I found it matched the bookshelf speakers well. It has dual 4-inch drivers and 2 ports on the back. Looking at the objective measurements, I did see some resonance coming through the rear ports, but I'm not sure how audible that is in real world use. Overall, I think these are an excellent value. I'll leave a link below if you want to see the current pricing. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend these to someone looking to build their first home theater system or someone looking to match their debut 2.0 series speakers. Just make sure to pair these with a good sub. If you want to save some space and money by using these as height speakers instead of using speakers from the debut 2.0 series, I would do the same exact thing. I mean, you don't need speakers that play down to 40 Hz if you have a subwoofer or two taking care of those frequencies. For someone looking for the experience of the Pioneer BS22 LRs, these are the closest thing to them. Again, I have a binaural sound demo of these speakers and another video with objective measurements if you're into that. I'll link to those below. Let's go ahead and place these on the speaker leaderboard. All right, so here we are at the speaker leaderboard. I have the ELAC BS41s, and let's see here. They fit into the bookshelf category, looks, build functionality, sound quality, and value. All right, so these are very inexpensive speakers, so you gotta keep your expectations realistic, but let's see. I mean, they sound very similar to the debut 2.0, so I would assume that we're gonna kind of look at that territory. I would say, oh, so here's the Pioneer BS22 LR. Those are the Yamos. I don't know. I think I actually have to rearrange this because some of these I don't actually agree with looking back. It's just so many speakers. It's easy to, kind of misplace things, let's just say. But I would have to say that as far as sound quality, these, well, functionality too, though. So that's probably why these are higher. Some of these have more functionality. I would say right around here, above the Mica RB42. The RB42s, I think, may have had a little bit more bass. Those are just kind of little like bass monsters. So somewhere around here, I think this is a fair area for them. So that's not to say that that's exactly where they should place, but let's just say it should be in that area. Now, best under $100. This is tricky because right now they are currently under $100, in which case I would say, I might have to put them under the Pioneers. Maybe that's because I'm biased and, these are some of the first speakers I've ever purchased. And I like the curved cabinet. I don't know that they absolutely sound better than these, but it's just maybe a nostalgic thing. I mean, I could easily say this, and this could be true also because these have more bass. The problem is that the regular price on these is $149, and so I'm gonna have to place these in the under $200 category. In which case, let's see, better than the Yamaha S803. I would, it's tricky. Yeah, I think I'm gonna place these, let's say right here. I almost forgot here, best for desktop. These I think would be pretty good for desktop. You'd need a little amp for them. So a lot of these already have amps built in, and so that's why they get higher ratings, not necessarily that they sound better. But I would say maybe around here would be fair. Yeah, I think so. The Numi BS5P, I don't know that they measure quite as well, but they do have a built-in amp. I don't know, somewhere around here. I want you guys to take this with a grain of salt. This is just more to get an idea approximately where they place. Best overall, regardless of price. Let's see here. So this is basically just sound quality. I put a lot of weight on bass. So I would say bass and accuracy are the things that I look for. So I would say more accurate than these, more accurate than those, not as accurate as these 306Ps if I remember correctly. So let's just say right there. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. That's it. Take care. Bye-bye.